Why do some women suddenly start feeling cold toward the man they once loved as they age? If you're a senior, this video is going to shed light on a truth many people whisper about but rarely explain fully. We're talking about why some older women begin to feel resentment, even bitterness, toward their husbands in later life. And before you assume this is just about nagging or mood swings, let's pause. It's deeper than that. These feelings usually don't show up overnight. They grow over years, slowly, quietly, and sometimes painfully, until one day they can't be hidden anymore. Whether you're a husband trying to understand your wife or a woman quietly nodding along as you hear this, I want you to know this video isn't about blame. It's about clarity, because once we understand the hidden causes behind this emotional shift, we can start to heal, reconnect, or at least find peace with what's happening. So stay with me, because the last reason we'll explore might surprise you, and for some it may even feel like a mirror being held up to your own life. Number 1. Lack of shared purpose. When couples are younger, life is filled with shared goals: raising kids, building careers, saving for retirement. There's always something pulling them forward together. But after 60 or 70, when many of those responsibilities fade, something unexpected happens. That shared purpose vanishes. And when that sense of purpose disappears, so does a vital piece of connection between husband and wife. Without those common objectives anchoring the relationship, couples often drift. The kids are grown, the house is paid off, and retirement has settled in. And that's when many women start asking, what are we even doing together now? Not in a bitter way, but in a reflective, sometimes painful way. Because without a shared direction, things start to feel stagnant. For some men, this shift goes unnoticed. They may be perfectly content, spending their days watching TV or puttering around the house. But for many women, that aimlessness feels unbearable. It's not just boredom, it's the emotional weight of living beside someone who no longer dreams, plans, or reaches forward with them. Take Ellen, for example, a 68-year-old woman I met at a community center. She told me, "We used to talk about traveling, volunteering, starting a garden together, but now he's just settled into the couch. I feel like I'm still reaching for something, and he's already given up." And the pain in her voice wasn't just about lost plans, it was about lost partnership. Women want to feel like they're still building something, whether it's a project, a memory, a legacy, or even just a routine filled with meaning. When that stops, they begin to feel like passengers in someone else's life. They lose that sense of being a team, and that's when resentment creeps in. Not because their husbands are doing something wrong, but because they're doing nothing at all. This doesn't mean couples need to start a business or climb a mountain together, but it does mean they need to share a purpose, however simple it may be. Whether it's cooking new recipes, or mentoring younger couples, or volunteering once a week. Purpose brings vitality, and vitality brings connection. If you're a husband watching this, I urge you, don't settle into passivity. Don't assume that quiet is peace. Sometimes silence is just distance in disguise. Your wife may be longing for that spark of shared energy again, that sense of we're still in this together. Reignite it even in small ways. And if you're a woman watching and nodding through this, let me say this clearly. You are not selfish for wanting more than just coexisting. You are allowed to seek joy, passion, and purpose in your later years. In fact, you deserve it more than ever. Because life didn't stop when you turned 70, and neither did your heart. Number 2. Communication breakdown. What starts as a small crack in communication often turns into a canyon. Over time, many couples stop truly talking to each other. Sure, they may still exchange words, "Dinner's ready. Did you take your pills?" But the deep, honest, heart-to-heart conversations fade away. And without that kind of communication, connection begins to wither. When a wife feels like her husband is no longer interested in her thoughts, her stories, or her feelings, she starts to shut down too. This breakdown doesn't usually happen overnight. It builds over years. Maybe he gets tired of hearing the same complaints, and she gets tired of repeating herself. Maybe they've each been misunderstood one too many times, so they stop trying. Eventually, silence feels safer than speaking. But that silence comes at a cost. It creates distance, and the longer that distance grows, the more resentment can fester. You see, communication is more than just words. It's presence. It's showing you care enough to really listen, even when the topic isn't exciting, even when you're tired, even when it's about something you don't understand. When a husband stops giving his wife his attention, she begins to feel invisible, and when she feels invisible, her heart starts to retreat. Take the example of Ellen, who's 68. She told me, "We used to sit on the porch and talk for hours, but now he just scrolls through his phone, or naps in his chair." I could tell him the house was on fire, and he'd probably just nod. Her words were laced with frustration, but also with sadness. She didn't want grand gestures, she just wanted to be heard again. The truth is, when a woman spends years feeling like her voice no longer matters, she starts to believe that her marriage no longer serves her. And while some women stay quiet and endure it, others begin to emotionally check out. They stop caring, they stop investing. And that's when the shift happens. The love they once had turns into disappointment. And disappointment, over time, can harden into dislike. If you're a husband listening, think back to how you spoke to your wife when you were first married. Did you lean in? Did you ask questions? Did you laugh together? That version of you still exists. You don't have to reinvent yourself. You just have to return to caring. And if you're a wife watching this and feeling emotionally abandoned, I want you to know your feelings are valid. You deserve to be heard, not just out of duty, but out of love. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 3. Emotional neglect. One of the biggest reasons women begin to feel distant from their husbands in old age is emotional neglect. And I don't mean the loud, obvious kind. I'm talking about the quiet, unspoken kind that creeps in slowly over the years. It's when conversations become purely functional. It's when a husband stops asking how she's doing, not just physically, but emotionally. It's when she stops being seen as a whole person, with feelings, and starts being treated more like part of the furniture in the home. The lights are on, the meals are shared, the routines go on, but the connection is gone. Now, emotional neglect doesn't usually come from cruelty, it comes from complacency. After decades of marriage, some husbands fall into routine. They assume their wives know they're appreciated, loved, respected. So they stop saying it. They stop doing the little things that matter, like listening without interrupting, or noticing when she's had a hard day. What used to be tenderness gets replaced by silence. What used to be shared joy gets replaced by separate lives under the same roof. For many women, especially in their later years, this feels like a slow kind of abandonment. She may not say it out loud, but inside she wonders, am I still loved? And when that question goes unanswered, year after year, something starts to harden. It's not hate in the beginning, it's hurt. But when hurt sits too long without comfort, it can turn bitter. And once that bitterness sets in, even the smallest gestures start to feel empty or too late. I once knew a woman named Carol. She was 74 when she told me the story. She said, "My husband and I raised 3 children together. We built a life, but somewhere along the way, he stopped looking at me when I spoke. I'd talk and he'd just nod or keep staring at the TV. I realized I could be a ghost in my own living room." Carol didn't scream, she didn't leave, but over time, her love faded. It didn't die in a blaze. It faded in the quiet. Emotional neglect is dangerous because it doesn't always look like a problem. There's no yelling, no slamming doors, but inside, there's a coldness that begins to grow, and if left unchecked, it turns into resentment. So if you're a husband listening to this, I urge you, ask her how she's feeling. Really ask, not because something's wrong, but because she still matters. And if you're a woman who feels unseen, please know you're not crazy, and you're not alone. This is a real pattern many women face, and acknowledging it is the first step toward healing. Number 4 is stonewalling. One of the most silent but powerful reasons women grow distant from their husbands in later life. Emotional stonewalling, it often doesn't start as cruelty, it starts as withdrawal. Over time, it builds up like a wall between two people who once shared everything. And by the time a woman notices how lonely she feels, the man may already be unreachable behind that wall. Emotional stonewalling looks like this. She tries to talk about something that's been bothering her, and he responds with silence or a grunt. She asks how he feels about a situation, and he changes the subject. She brings up something from the past, hoping to connect, but he brushes it off. Over the years, these small moments pile up until they become a heavy silence that fills the room. Many men were raised in a time when showing emotion was considered weakness. Talking about feelings was women's business, and so they grew up believing that being quiet, stoic, and strong was the right way to be a man. But in marriage, that silence can be more painful than anger. Because anger at least shows you still care. Silence can feel like abandon. Take Susan, a 72-year-old woman I once spoke to at a local book club. She said, "When we were younger, he used to get mad sometimes, but at least we talked. Now it's like living with a ghost. I say something and all I get is that blank look. I feel invisible." That word invisible is one of the most heartbreaking words a wife can say about her husband. Emotional stonewalling doesn't always come from a place of malice. Sometimes it's from fear. Fear of conflict, fear of saying the wrong thing, fear of being vulnerable. But the result is the same, a woman who feels unheard, unseen, and slowly unloved. And over time, that hurt can harden into resentment. Because no one wants to feel like they're talking to a wall. What makes this so tragic is that it's often avoidable. Most women don't expect perfect communication. They don't need their husbands to spill their hearts every day. But they do need to feel like their words matter, like their emotions aren't being dismissed, like their presence still matters. If you're a husband watching this, and you found yourself retreating into silence, I urge you, open the door a little, say something when she speaks. Even a simple "tell me more" can make her feel heard. If it's hard to talk, write a note, share a memory. Break the silence in whatever way you can. And if you're a woman dealing with this, let me remind you, your voice matters. Don't let someone else's silence shrink your spirit. You have the right to be heard, to be acknowledged, and to be emotionally connected, even in your later years. Emotional stonewalling isn't just a bad habit, it's a quiet destroyer of closeness. And unless it's addressed, it turns love into distance, warmth into chill, and marriage into a shared loneliness. You don't have to accept that. You can speak up, ask for more, and seek a deeper bond. Even if you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any video. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Final thoughts. When you've lived a long life beside someone, the layers of your relationship grow deep. Sometimes in love, sometimes in silence, and sometimes in disappointment. The truth is, no one gets to this age without carrying some emotional bruises. And for many women, those bruises are quietly shaped by years of feeling unseen, unheard, or disconnected. But here's what matters most. You are not powerless. You are not stuck, and you are not alone. Many women start questioning their marriages in their later years, not because they suddenly turn bitter or selfish, but because they finally have space to feel. With the kids grown and the pressures of early life lifted, they begin to notice what's been missed. They ask themselves, is this really all there is? That question isn't one of blame, it's one of longing, and that longing is valid. You deserve companionship, conversation, laughter, curiosity, and respect, even now. Especially now. It's never too late to ask for more, not in a demanding way but in a hopeful one. You don't have to give up or walk away, but you also don't have to stay silent about your unhappiness. If you're a man watching this, I hope you're hearing not just the reasons why women grow distant, but the opportunities to grow close. Every issue we talked about today can be softened, healed, or reversed when you choose to show up again. Not just with your body, but with your attention, your affection, and your curiosity. Being present doesn't require grand gestures, it requires small, consistent care. And if you're a woman feeling seen for the first time by these words, know that your feelings are valid. Don't shrink them, don't hide them. You've spent a lifetime taking care of others. Now it's time to take care of your emotional truth. Love in later life doesn't have to fade, it just needs to be fed, not with obligation, but with intention. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is speak honestly, ask for change, and believe that you still deserve a meaningful connection. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.